Greetings and salutations. This painting was literally the worst thing possible. The worst process I've ever been through while doing a gouache painting, and I am beyond furious, but I am done with it, and that's all that matters. I wanted to first start out with making it, or I first wanted to work with ink for this illustration, and I had this idea of oh, this girl floating in the pond, and she has koi fishes surrounding her, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do ink with it. So I did a sketch, and then I did the color studies for it, and then I was like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be it. And then I went forward with the bigger version of it, the final draft, right? And boy, I picked the worst paper. First of all, I knew I should have picked the thicker paper that I usually use, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this Arches pad thing that is attached to the board itself, so it doesn't crinkle. And the thing with that is, it is a very, it's not too thick. I think it's 300 GSM, whatever you call it, GM. And that was my first mistake. My second mistake, you will see coming along. Again, this was a very painful process of a painting, and I wanted to give up so many times, but with the encouragement of my boyfriend and my well-patron, I kept myself as sane as I could and went forward with my piece. Now, in the beginning, it was doing pretty good with the ink. I really liked the wash that I had for the hair. It was a very dark mossy green, and it was slain. And then I had this red for the bathing suit that she had on her, and everything was going according to plan, and it was amazing. I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't wait to continue and go all forward with the water. So I did the line art as best as I could, but I knew I was gonna go back over with it once I got the water down. And so then I had this idea, okay, I'm gonna mask fluid the fishes, so that is an easy process. And then I'm gonna add tape all over the big pieces or parts, because I can't mask fluid the entire freaking paper, right? This was my second problem, because guess what? The tape wasn't waterproof, and you'll see in a second what happens when it's not waterproof. Put a wash over it on very not thick paper meant for too much water, which is baloney in my opinion, but I digress. And unfortunately, I did not show the happening of it. I kind of did it off camera because I was so in shock of what just had happened. And so I peeled off the tape, and it just seeped under because there's layers and layers of tape, as you can tell, right? I was devastated. I really was. And I think I cried a little bit, low-key. Luckily my boyfriend was there when that happened, and I was just so upset. Anyways, this is the process now. This is how it looked like after I peeled it off. The water could have been amazing, but it didn't work out. So I had this brilliant idea, and I don't mean by me, but my boyfriend gave me the idea, just go over it with gouache. You're so good with gouache. You don't have to restart again. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I had this idea of finishing it so I can make a print of it for Sunny Day Market, or whatever it's called, in Brooklyn, which is on March 8th and 9th, but I'll be there on March 9th. So I had to finish it by the end of this week. So of course I didn't really have a lot of time to restart and start from scratch. So I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I will just do gouache and see where life takes me from there. It was going smoothly. It really was. Then I did that big wash with the ink and that big brush earlier. For whatever reason, I'd guess the brush was linty, and I completely forgot that it was linty. So when I put the gouache paint on the first layer of the illustration, there was lint embedded in the paint on the paper, and it doesn't look cute. I don't know if you can really tell by the video itself. I really tried my best to not be too close up with it because I was just so frustrated. Yeah, if you can look at the arm, you can see there's it's not smooth. It's a textured, not cute textured thing going on with the paper because there's so much lint on it. And I kind of saved it with the fishes, but not really. It was really in the paper, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna continue. I'm going to keep on trucking on and see what happens. Okay, so I went on and continued painting. It was going smoothly for the most part until I had gone for the face. which was the most lintiest part out of the entire painting, which I don't get why, because there was tape over her when I did the wash for the ink. So I was like, this makes no sense. I need to, I don't know. But also another thing I think what might have happened was I forget to cover my illustrations. So, and I leave them on my board in my room. And I live in New York City, and I open my window sometimes because I need fresh air because I don't go out. And with that being said, debris, pollution, whatever you call it, comes into my room, and I'm just assuming the lint just gradually sticks onto the paper. So I think it was like sitting there for like 2 days before I started painting with gouache. So maybe that was a factor to it. I'm really trying to recollect all of the memory I have of this painting that made me so angry, and I'm still kind of angry at myself. But nonetheless, I hope you, throughout this process, you will learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to go through the roller coaster of emotions that I went through for the last week. So, I kept going over it. I think I went over the face twice, and I still didn't like it. And eventually you will see me fix that in a different way that is not involving gouache. Also, I don't know why this happened, but you'll see later on with the bathing suit. And honestly, I don't know if you can really see it in the water, but I really noticed it in the water when I was editing it on Photoshop, because I was like getting rid of all the debris that was on the paper as best to my ability. And I think I just overlayered, or I put too much water, or like put too thick of gouache. I don't really know. I've never ever had this problem with Holbein gouache, so I'm still kind of confused as to what made that happen. I think, wait, did I even say what happened? The paint cracked, essentially. That's what happened for some parts. Like, it was really not cute. So with the lint that was embedded into the paper, the stain from the ink previously, and the cracking that will happen in the painting going forward in this video, my frustration continued, but I don't know why I kept going on. I think it was the medication that held me at bay, to be honest. I was so determined to finish this and not just drop it, because there's so much with this painting already, and I just needed to finish it. So yeah, I went forward with the kind of when you go into the water and there's it depends on what kind of water, I don't know, but there's these white things around what's beneath the water and then above the water, so it kind of separates it. That's what I'm adding, the little bubbly white stuff, it's my thing, right? And then I went forward with the shadowy part of the painting, where I don't know, I was looking at references and what other people did, and I'm like, okay, well, I see some of them have this shadow going off on, which happens when you're in a shallow body of, especially if the sun is hitting above you. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I did not like the color that I added for the shadow. I think I made it lighter later on, but mind you, also these little tiny fishes were a pain in the ass, and I'm so sorry if I'm just all over the place with painting this. I think that's just the way I work. Also, this painting was already frustrating me enough, and I just wanted to get it over with. I think I spent 2 hours for 4 days after the ink process doing this, so it was 8 hours of painting, excluding the editing segment. Another thing I really regret doing the masking fluid, or not taking the masking fluid off before I started the water, because then there's spaces of white showing out of the painting, because I just didn't do a great job at it, or I put too light of a wash for the fishes, so I had to fix that later. I fixed a lot of things later on, to be honest. I have a headache just remembering and recollecting and relaying all of the things that happened with this painting. I'm staring at the window and out the window, and I'm just I need a drink after this. No, I'll just have brownies, better for my liver. But I don't know about the rest of my body. Also, I really regret how much fishes, little tiny fishes, I put on here, because it was so many. I think I had over 30 or 40, to be honest, and for whatever reason I was you know what, I'm gonna add more fishes later on, and I'm why did I do this to myself? I regret this so so much. And doing the leaves, the little lily pads, was kind of, it's okay. I kind of didn't know what I was doing in the beginning, and I especially didn't like how it was too close of a tone with the water, so I wanted to make it lighter. So that's what I did. Yes, indeed, that is what I did. Again, I had no idea what I was doing with the leaves. I kept adding like lighter greens, and I was like, oh, I feel like I could do better. And eventually it did get better. I think the leaves were my favorite part out of this painting, to be honest, because I really ate with this one leaf. I don't think I showed myself doing the other leaves. I think the fishes were definitely the most tranquil and calmest part of this painting. It's really gone a long way, and I know that face looks like pretty nice right now, but if you really get close to it, if you see it in person, which you never will, you will see the lint, the crack within this painting, the several amounts, not several, hundreds of imperfections in this painting. And may this come a lesson to you all, including my future self, to always put like parchment paper or I use tracing paper and put it over your painting if you're not going to put it in a compartment or whatever, a bag or whatever you put your paintings in between the times you do actually paint. Do that. It will save you the trouble of having to edit every single little speck, dust, speckle, crack, dots that weren't meant to be there out of like on Photoshop. It will save you so much time, so much aggravation. I'm still mad that I didn't do that. This is another thing that I really regret doing, which was painting over the bathing suit again, which I had already gone over with red gouache or red paint. So you notice that it starts to reactivate the paint underneath, and it wasn't cute, so I had to go over it again, and I think that's what made that part crack. So that was great. I love that for me. I think this is when I added like a thicker, like no water at all on with the gouache for the bathing suit, and I think this definitely did not help the crack so much for hiding the red, because it just cracked back. Like, it was kind of cool in the way, like it was like showing the red underneath, but I was like, not today. This is not what I like. This is not the painting that I want this to happen. Like, you know, despite all of the mistakes that I had undergone with this painting, I thank you so much for watching this entire video and just hearing me complain and blab on about random things. The thing is with like things that don't turn out correctly or right or to your expectations, first of all, future, you never know what's gonna happen in the future. Sometimes things don't turn out the way you expect, like at all. That's not something to get upset over in the sense of, you know, just throwing it away. You could throw it away. There's times where it's like, all right, I'm gonna step away from this and never go back from it. But another thing to take from that is, you know, understanding your mistakes is like the learning curve, or like a growth moment, whatever you call it, for these kinds of things, and it just in life in general, you know. It's good to reflect on things you did and what you could do better. And, you know, I think another thing, besides me being patient with this painting, I could have been more patient. Usually it takes me about like a month to finish a painting, at this size especially. I think I could have planned better. I think I could have researched better on the tape. I think I could have given myself more time to, you know, mix the paint and, you know, enjoy the process. I did not enjoy the process at all, and that sucks. Do I hate it? Kind of. Will I throw it away? Absolutely not, because I devoted my time and energy into this, and emotions and tears into this painting, and I made prints out of it. So obviously I don't hate it completely, especially with the makeover I do with it on Procreate. A face needed so much work. No amount of Photoshop editing was gonna fix what I had done to this painting. FYI, I did not get rid of all the lint on this painting. I gave up after like 20 or 30 minutes doing it on Photoshop because I was like, hold on, pause. Is anyone really gonna see this, like this much lint, right? I did what I could. I left some lint because I wasn't gonna paint over or, you know, fix it entirely digitally because it'll take away the rawness of the brush strokes, and you know, you can see the brush strokes here and there and everywhere. I thank you again for sticking around for this entire video. Maybe you like it, the painted version, the raw version. Me, however, no, not at all. I definitely like what I did at the end. It is now a mixed media piece and will forever be a mixed media piece, and it will be in the shadows, in the dark, dusting away in my little portfolio book for no human to ever see. I don't even want my boyfriend to see. And we tight. We like hella tight, right? Look at all that lint. Can you see the amount of lint on Photoshop? Anyways, thank you for sticking around, and tell me a moment that you fumbled on, or painting you fumbled on, and how you fumbled on it, and what did you learn from it. If you are in New York or around New York City or in Brooklyn, perhaps check out Sunny Day Market March 8th and 9th. I'll be there on the 9th, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.